Alrighty, good afternoon everybody and welcome to Stewart 34 Championship Series Racing for another Monday night. I'm Sue Ellen, I'm joined by Josh Weejohn here in the co-commentary seat, and back there our driver today is Finn. And it's looking like a nice night out here on the beautiful Auckland Harbour. And Josh, just give us a bit of a rundown on what the plan is for today.
Yeah, so it's just about to go high tide here. About 5 minutes till we'll be into our start sequence. The points for today. At the moment we have Prince Hal leading with 31 points, followed by Playboy on 40 points. So not out of reach with first place, but they are a bit behind. Then the ones to keep an eye on, Passion, Pahi and Psyche. Passion's on 55 points, Pahi's on 58 and Psyche's on 59. So they're very close to each other, and we'll probably see some changes in who's ahead of who tonight. Right now you're looking at Playboy, who are second currently. The breeze, a bit better than last week. What would you say, about 8 to 10 knots at the moment? So the boats are going to be maybe 8 to 12. The boats are going to be fully powered. It's going to be a great night for sprints. We're out here right in front of West Haven Marina, the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron, the Harbour Bridge just off to our left. Now with that tide, what's going to happen is as it starts to go out, because we're just on high tide now, it will move from left to right on your race course, the current looking up the course. So it'll be interesting to see what the boats do about that.
Now we were meant to get some rain this afternoon, but thankfully it's gone the other side of us, and hopefully we'll be able to stay dry here on your media boat here tonight. You reckoned that the breeze was about 10 knots, really? Are you using your, your professional sailor analysis of 10 knots? Do you reckon we're up there yet?
I'm definitely an amateur, but that is my kind of my Windex, my hair decks at the moment. That's what it feels like. Maybe if I take my hat off, it might be a bit more accurate. Maybe. We are getting close to having our first warning signal for the night. But until then, what we might do is start watching a little bit of a video that we created a little while ago, one of the first races of the night for the Stewart 34. So sit back, relax, and get ready for some racing. We will interrupt this video though once we do get underway into sequence. So, all right, we'll see you soon.
Okay, so here we are for the first night of the Stewart 34 Windward Lure Championships. Old school racing, big overlapping jibs, heavy displacement boats, 8 guys working hard on a one design boat. We're looking at 9 boats in the spinnaker division and about 5 in the non-spinnaker division. So it should be an interesting night tonight. Breeze up to 20 knots, probably on either number 2s or 3 headsails, big kites, plenty on. Boys are going to be working hard tonight.
Alrighty, I know that you're probably enjoying some pretty spectacular footage there that we got in October last year, but it's time to start focusing on the race today, and we are now within 5 minutes. Alright Josh, give us a bit of a run through on what you would do on this start line, and just give us a bit of a rundown on the course as well, so all of our friends at home know what's going on.
Yeah, so at the moment the start line is a pretty long start line, so the bias on each end, depending on what shift we get, meaning which end is kind of closest to the wind, will be kind of exaggerated with this longer start line. The course is going to be, we're going to start, go upwind to the top marks, back down to the gate just in front of us, then another upwind, and then we'll come down for a finish. That was our 4-minute gun you might have just heard in the background. So that's 4 minutes till the start. This is Flyer just coming past. They're in the non-spinnaker division, so they won't be in this start. But I think they're just checking out the line, working out where they want to start.
And that might be your new boat in a couple of weeks. We spoke about that last week. Let's see what happens. Yeah, the owner is giving Josh a bit of a grin and a wave. There we go.
That's Wayne Boberg, the owner. Roger Purdy, another regular umpire down here.
So now tell us, where would you start on this line given the conditions and the course that we've got?
I'd want to be to windward of the bunch because it's quite a short upwind at the moment. But the pin does look a little bit favoured. So I just want to be to windward of the bunch on starboard so that you choose when they all tack over, assuming you've got good boat speed and can hold with all the other boats. Then it's up to you when we all come back to the middle. So that leaves the decision to you rather than kind of having to do your best to squeeze everyone out before the ley line because it is a very short course.
It is a really short course compared to what you were doing on the weekend at the Young 88 Nationals. And we'll just take this quick moment to shout out congratulations Josh Weejohn, part of the Raging Hormones winning team at the Young 88 Nationals. And we won't talk about too much of that now, we'll come back to that a bit later, but this is very similar racing, isn't it? Yeah, very similar racing. It's pretty similar to the Young 88 sprints, well, the same format as the Young 88 sprints that are down here as well. And yeah, just tight one design racing, really enjoyable. So how long have we got to go? We do have several devices going here to give us that information. 2 minutes 10 to go. 2 minutes 10 until the start of the race. So we would like to welcome everybody to tuning in tonight to race 19 of the Stewart 34 Championship Series, the 60th year of racing for this classic class. And we're not far away from the 1 minute gun to get us underway. Remember, please flick us a like, a comment, a smiley face, something just so that we know that you're getting everything through okay. Audio's good, commentary might not be, you know, the best, but we'll do what we can, won't we, Josh? The commentary will be outstanding. I'll give you that much for free. That much is for free. We're never not going to charge for that, geez. But yeah, look, please just do, you know, communicate with us. We can see comments and stuff coming through, so yeah, interact and get amongst it. So we're coming up to 1 minute at this point. Josh, what do you reckon? We're going to sneak a little bit closer and let's see which boat's going to get the best start. But you're going to pick it? You're going to pick it now? Well, what we've got at the moment is that's Playboy Guy Pilkington, number 136, off to the far right of screen. They're to leeward of the whole fleet. Guy's quite an aggressive starter. He likes to win the start he wants. So he's quite happy to start to leeward of everyone and try and squeeze them all out. In general is the way it goes. Next you've got Pahi and Psyche just stacked up above them. That's Psyche, the yellow boat, luffing up right behind the start boat there. Prism diving into leeward. Prism now has right of way over Psyche. They could potentially stop them getting down to the start here. And at this point we're going to hear a lot of comms from on the boats. So we'll get in there as close as we can. Boats are very close to the line. That's Psyche luffed up right on the line. Currently I'd say they are over. They're going to have to get back before the start. He was definitely very close to the line there as well. Prince Hal winning the boat here by the looks of things. Hatere just above them. And that is a general recall. So that was probably because Psyche was so far over that the race committee could not see the rest of the line. Not surprised at that, really. No, Psyche this week has a different tactician. They've swapped out Leonard Takashi for what looks like Nick Ignot Johnson, and they've still got most of their regular boys, pretty young crew on board there. So do you reckon everybody is a little bit, you know, a little bit eager to get out for this start, you know, hence the general recall, because we're at that slack tide now, so that's got nothing to do with it. These sailors are just being impatient.
Yeah. Wow. That is loud, and that is the postponement flag, the AP flag has gone up.
Do you reckon we had a bit of a shift? Is that why they've gone and done that?
Yeah, we've had a bit of a right shift, which would make the boat end a little bit favoured, which is why we saw them all stack up there in the end.
So we'll say thanks to everybody for joining in. Thanks for those who are flicking through a few comments, and there is a little bit more light today. I remember last week we were live streaming and we finished in the dark. It was quite a beautiful sunset. We're not going to get the same sunset this afternoon. I think we've got a lot more cloud cover. We have just gone into AP, so what we might do, Josh, is why don't we show the start of another video, and we'll come back and see everybody again shortly. We'll just stand by. What do you reckon?
That sounds good.
Right. All right, everybody, stay tuned. We'll be back shortly.
Hi, I'm Eli Lifting. I sail on the boat Pahi. I'm doing main on there. I just got called on for the night racing, which is awesome fun, and such a competitive fleet. It's really good racing. It teaches me a lot as well. So, no, it's awesome fun doing the Stewart racing, and I'm really happy to get a chance to be on the boat.
Interesting first day for me. First time on a Stewart, so it was good fun. Didn't start off great. OCS and disqualified, but came back with a second and a first. So good fun sailing. Always good with my buddy Kempy.
Yeah. Made sure we had to win that last one. You know, a couple of guys were pretty desperate to get in. But no, it was good racing, tight racing, and it's always fun getting the bus around the track, you know.
We tried to keep the yelling to a minimum. We had all sorts of sheets going everywhere and had to do some re-knitting on the upwinds, but it's alright, eh?
It's almost like racing in slow motion, but you know, it's good fun because you enjoy the action for that much longer, because it's just happening for a bit longer. So it's good. It's really down to your classic route sailing, which is great, you know. And anytime you get out on these things with the boys, it's always a good time. So no, it's good first little action on a Monday. What a good way to kick off the week.
And welcome back, everybody. Hope you enjoyed watching that little video. That was from back in November 2018, isn't it? Yeah, last year was 2018. And so yeah, we're still under AP here on the course. That is because they moved the top mark. So we did get that late shift, probably about 10 seconds. No, we had a general recall, but then they put the AP up because everyone was over because we had that late shift and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I think that shift came in at about 2 minutes 30, 3 minutes to go in the start. The boats all picked up on that and switched up their plan, all went to go start at the boat, but there was a boat over blocking the race committee's sight down the line to call the rest of them over or back. So that's why they decided to do a general recall, which is where they put up a flag and a double horn, and that says to all the competitors, come back, we're going to run the start again. We can't tell exactly who was over there, which is what happened now. That was actually kind of convenient because now they're able to reset the course to a more true upwind for the first leg. In the meantime, the conditions, we are still kind of in that 10 knot range. The boats are going to be fully powered but not overpowered. And the tide has started to stream out a bit. You may notice if we shoot over to the committee boat, it is hanging down tide, not straight head to wind on their anchor. The AP flag, the postponement flag, is still up, but we feel like the top marks are in and we're pretty close to getting another start here.
So I should take this opportunity as well, Josh, to there's a little bit of a shout out we have to make to one of the sponsors of the Stewart 34 racing, and that's North Sails. North Sails New Zealand are providing a brand new #1 to give away at prize giving, and current 18-foot skiff world champion Matt Stephen from North Sails, who was on board Honda Marine during the JJs just recently, is presenting that at prize giving, and that's pretty cool. That's a fair chunk of a prize.
Yeah, that's really awesome. You know, it's a pretty useful prize for these guys because sails are expensive. You go through them a lot, and it'll make your boat go faster, which is what it's all about.
So just explain the sail configuration on a Stewart 34, because like as you can see, it's beautiful old classic Dacron sails, massive Genoa up front. So how much sail area, Josh?
I can't tell you exactly how much off the top of my head, but if you're looking over at Psyche over there, they are currently under their main and their Genoa, their #1 jib. Well, Genoa actually, #1, the big one, which is about 150% overlap.
That's our 5 minute. Did we get it, Josh?
Yeah, we got it, good.
Yeah, I think we're about 3 seconds off, but that's okay. So we are back in sequence now for what is race 19 of the Stewart 34 Championship Series here in Auckland, racing directly out in front of the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron, West Haven Marina and Silo Park, which is where we're going to see a lot of America's Cup action too.
That's pretty cool, right in front of the city here. And if you are just hanging around, you could go down to the Squadron and watch the live feed from your phone there, and you'd be able to see the racing as well.
Or you could also go and hang out at the little silo area just there and see things front row.
Yeah, we're probably going to be in this spot all night, so it should be pretty cool.
Alrighty, so thanks for everybody for tuning in. Just remember, we can see all the comments, etc. that come through. So if you have any questions, just give us a shout out and ask. There is the U flag. So we are now in 4 minutes. Now just run through the U flag again, Josh. Did you do a bit of a sailing lesson this week to learn the flag?
Yeah, I really should have known that one last week. A few people corrected me on it, but the U flag means that if you are over on the start, you're out of the race. That's it. You need to stop, but I think it's that you can still drop that race. I've kind of forgotten it. Or maybe it's that it's not.
Maybe the goal of like whatever flag goes up at the 4 minute, the goal should be just to not be over the line.
Yeah, exactly. But this one kind of provides a bit of extra motivation because it ruins your whole race if you are over.
I reckon we've only got about 6 to 7 knots here, Josh. Maybe, yeah, 6 knots. I don't think we've got that 10 knots that you reckon. I don't know where you're getting your information from, but you know, right now if I you lit your finger and put it up into the sky, yeah, I'm only feeling about 6 knots here. 6
knots sounds good from my house.
All right, we really need to get this race underway, don't we? Thank you everybody for tuning in. This is race 19 is about to get underway for the Stewart 34 Championship Series. You're joined here by myself, Sue Ellen from Live Sail Die, Josh Weejohn, current Young 88 national champion and soon to be full-on pro sailor and pro commentator. He's going to be heading over to the Congressional Cup as well to do a little bit of banter. And yeah, we're about to get into it. If you're over at the start of a U flag, you are out for that race. Yeah, so you got it right. Good work.
I know that much, but there was something different between a U and a black, and I think it's that you could maybe be over within the last minute and it doesn't matter, or it's that you can still drop that race.
And it's also a big difference in colour. One's red and white and one's black.
Works. Just coming up to 2 minutes now. Prince Hal turning past the back of the committee boat. It looks like most people are setting up again to start at the boat end of the line, the right-hand side of the line. Currently we've got Prince Hal, Prism, Psyche all out here, Precedent as well. Playboy are making their way over.
Right, at this particular point in time in this fleet, we know that everyone starts to get a little bit antsy and a little bit eager, which is why we did see a bit of a general recall. The fleet here is quite competitive, even though these boats are, you know, I'm going to say old, we're going to say vintage and classic. They are still raced really hard by a lot of really good people. Coming up to the 1 minute, the U flag is just about to come down, and then we'll slowly see these boats making their way up to the start line. 3, 2, 1.
Alright, that is 1 minute. The boats now all stacking up towards the boat end of the line. That is Psyche, the yellow boat, off to leeward. Big right shift at the moment, so that'll make the course slightly longer on starboard tack and the boat more favoured, which is why you're seeing them all start here. Prince Hal appearing to be shut out at the boat. There's only 30 seconds to go. This is not where they want to be.
So that's Precedent who's pushed Prince Hal, the series leader, right up and out. Precedent is just saying, you know what, Prince Hal, not going to happen. Out of it. We do not want you on this start line. You're leading the series and we want to change that.
15 seconds to go. Back down at the boat. Playboy now holding, I think, Passion up.
Get ready to
Playboy looking to win the boat. And there it is. And it's Playboy who take the favoured start there on the boat end. We've got quite a few boats shut out here. Making their way back over is Precedent, followed by Prince Hal, followed by Pārtere, and then Passion. So this lot, we're all shut out at the boat, and that's going to be costly. Now you're going to see them all tack over when they can and try and get some clean air. There goes Pārtere. Pārtere, the only boat with lifelines on for Stewart 34 Racing, which makes it a bit harder to tack. Prince Hal just went, and there's Passion now, finally crossing the start line.
Now, Passion doesn't have Joey Allen on board today, so we know that he's going to be tuning in and watching this live stream, probably coaching from the sideline, giving these boys a little bit of a few hints and tips along the way. But you can see back there at the back of the boat, that's Logan Dunning-Beck, who is stepping in to call some shots on board Passion.
Logan, a great sailor. He just won, was it the 49er Nationals here in New Zealand, and actually took out the champions or previous champions, Pete Burling and Blair Tuke. That's a massive feat. Not many people have done that in the 49er in the last few years. Back up the course here, and it looks like Playboy should have the lead. Psyche didn't do too well out of the left-hand corner, having started at the pin, so the boat was far favoured. Playboy are going to be pretty happy about this because they have a lot of points to make up on Prince Hal. They're 9 points behind Prince Hal. And there goes Psyche, tacking back onto starboard tack. We're in the middle of the course roughly now. And it looks like the standings at the moment is Playboy currently in the lead, closely followed by Precedent, then Prism, and then we've got Prince Hal and Psyche, and one other, I can't quite see who that is, boat 854 fighting it out for fourth place.
854, but hey, look at Prince Hal here now. It's about just coming to your screen, the blue boat on the far right. They were pushed out at the start by Precedent, and just have a look at this awesome shift, excuse me, that they've actually had come up this first work, even though they were what, almost dead donkey over the start line. They've nailed this.
Yeah, they really have.
Let's get ready for the cross between these guys here, Prince Hal and Precedent, who actually were the ones that pushed them out at the start. They will go behind Playboy, and Prince Hal, man, that boat is fast. Why is that boat so fast? Or is it just because there's awesome sailors on board?
Well, so Mark Bond, who also just finished second at the Young 88 Nationals and has a lot of the same crew on board, they're just consistent. You know, they have good boat handling. They are normally in the correct part of the course to get the shift, and they just kind of always work their way back into a race, even if they were to have a bad start.
I have to say, that is so impressive. We might head up to the top mark and get ready for these guys to come in and see some awesome top mark roundings.
Now, back to the current race leader as of the last cross, Playboy. Now, I'm not sure if they will be in front of Prince Hal here. This cross will be interesting as we make our way towards the top mark. Playboy are almost on the starboard ley line into the top mark, which means they'll have one more tack before they round. And there is the rest of the fleet kind of stacking up behind them in that right-hand corner now.
Now these guys will come around this top mark. There is no offset, which means that there's always a little bit more action at a top mark when there's no offset, because the leaders will be going down into the fleet who are still working their way upwind.
That's right. Now the problem is now the tide is going out, so to make an offset they'd have to actually change which way the boats round the mark. No, they wouldn't. I got that the wrong way round. I don't know why there's no offset, because the tide is going out.
Very strange look. It's got nothing to do with tide, Josh. I just don't think they laid it.
I've done too much match racing where they turn the other way.
That is correct. This is fleet racing. This is classic vintage fleet racing. That is Auckland City in the background. Beautiful cloud cover. And this is Playboy, who is going to... they actually had a bit of a cheer when they crossed the start line. They knew they did well. Let's see how their set is. The boat is currently leading race 19.
And there it is, Prince Hal fighting it out for second place against, I think, is that Precedent?
That's Precedent, who they had the games with at the start, and they're going to have some more games here right now.
Precedent getting very close. Prince Hal does have the right of way. Prince Hal, the blue boat, both boats getting incredibly close. Precedent having to avoid there. Oh my God, I'm going to be surprised if there isn't a collision here. You'd think the spinnaker is going to touch them.
That was incredibly close. That's the last thing you want, is for these boats to get together. Prince Hal popped that kite perfectly, but hey, look, Precedent not far behind, and Sailing over the top, Prince Hal now has full control over Precedent.
Yeah, so Prince Hal actually had a faster hoist there, but Precedent sat right on top of their air and collapsed their chute. Coming around in 4th place here, Psyche. Up goes the Spinnaker, closely followed by Patere, Pahi and Prism. And it's probably going to be a 1 jibe downwind at this rate because the tide is sucking the boats out.
We'll get ready to start following down as well. And we'll get some nice close action. We'll see how Passion goes and we'll follow them down.
There goes Passion. Nice and early set.
Actually, I'm going to comment on the how quiet the fleet is tonight. Remember this time last week, Josh, we had all kinds of fun banter and good comms going on between boats. Everybody looks to be a little bit quiet tonight.
Yeah, well, we'll see when we get to the bottom mark. They're off. That's where it all starts often with this bunch, so
absolutely.
We might not be saying the same thing after this race.
We might not, but the difference is though for this race is that there's a gate. So going down to the bottom mark, which gate would you go around?
That's a very loaded question.
Come on, you're meant to be a good sailor. Which one would you pick and why? You are a good sailor. I shouldn't say you're meant to be.
Yeah. I'm just having a look right now. Sorry, I haven't been keeping an eye on it.
All right, you have a look at what tactics you would do coming into this bottom mark, because if you were on board, you'd actually be wanting to know what you're going to do coming into this gate mark pretty much before you even got to the top mark. Yeah,
I'll probably be going a right turn, so that's the right looking down at this stage, because you just don't have to do an extra manoeuvre and you can do an early tack to get straight back over the fleet if you're Playboy. Just off to the left of screen here we have Prince Hal and Precedent, who were the ones having a bit of a kerfuffle with each other at the top mark. And it looks like Precedent is getting around Prince Hal, but they are not on lay to the bottom mark. They've both sailed slightly higher angles to defend their position.
They were playing silly buggers at the start, they played silly buggers at the top mark, and now they're playing silly buggers coming down to the gate. So just talk us through who's got control here, Josh.
Yeah, so right now the leeward boat Prince Hal with the blue hull has the right of way if they are just overlapped, but Precedent's in this position I kind of refer to as downwind jail right now. They have got in front, they do have the lead, but to get back across and to the bottom mark they'll have to jibe onto port, which will mean they will not have the right of way. So they have to get all the way around Prince Hal here to even think about going. Both these boats really close, and you can see there is an overlap there. So Prince Hal does have the right of way at this stage.
Stay on their line so we can see the overlap.
Prince Hal jibing off early. Looks like they're going to take a left-hand turn here, and that's because the left gate is actually a little bit up, a little bit closer to the top marks.
So you said you'd take the right gate, so it looks like everyone's going to take the left gate.
Yeah, I hadn't seen. Yeah, okay.
I have been told to be nice to you, so I do apologise, Mr. Josh Weejohn. That's all right. Here we are looking at Precedent and Prince Hal. Playboy clearly in the lead at this stage on the first race of the night, race 19 of the series. And it looks like Prince Hal doing that early jibe out is going to benefit from that tactical decision there, Josh.
Yeah, I think they just decided they did want that left side, so they should just bank it while they've got it. Head over there, get ready to get the kite down. Precedent, on the other hand, very early with their jib going up. Looking like they're going to choose to split here, so they're going to go for a right turn at the bottom. The pole's coming away. Getting ready to get the spinnaker down. They're only a length away from the mark now, so it's a pretty late drop at this point. Not much yelling this time because we do have a gate, so all the boats aren't right up against each other. Wow, their bow must be in line with the mark now. They need to get that spinnaker down. Going for a leeward drop, pulling it down on the left-hand side.
Right, here we go. We're going to get some action here at the on the left-hand mark. We've got Psyche coming in, followed by Pahi and then Prism. Let's see if we can get some comms. It's just relatively quiet. Everyone's being too well behaved tonight, Josh.
Yeah. They're all in the spinnakers over the bow there on Pahi.
Yeah, that's
This will be
fast.
tricky to get down. They're probably going to lose the sheet around the bow and have to re-rig it. That will hurt.
That's not fast.
Prism right on their tail. They're going to try and take that 3rd or 4th place off them here.
Let's go and have a look at Pahi and how they recover from their trawling that they're doing here with the spinnaker. The spinnaker has gone underneath the bow. That's not fast sailing, Josh.
No, that's not fast. It's a lot of drag having all that sail in the water. You've got people off the rail picking it up, and now your sheets are stuck under the boat. So they're going to either have to flick it through under the bow or unclip the sheets, pull them back around and run them again.
So that means that basically the crew now are not concentrating on this upwind leg, but now focused on trying to get themselves sorted out before the next downwind into the finish line. That's slow.
Yeah, you can see Stefano on the bow now trying to get enough sheet. He's pulling it all forward to try and flick it over the bow so that it will run again.
There is some comms going on here. There's a lot of cooks in the kitchen trying to figure out the right way to rectify this pretty costly mistake. You can see the boat has really slowed down. That's not good for Pahi. That is going to actually help Prism. Hopefully they can pick a few good tactical shifts up this work and they'll be able to overtake Pahi.
Yeah, so it looks like they've decided to actually undo the knots in the end of their sheets and pull them back and rerun them.
In the meantime, let's go check out Psyche and see how they're going. Do you reckon they're going to be able to, pick up a place here? They're now in 3rd, and but the fleet looks like Playboy looks like he's actually just sort of doing a cover of the fleet. And
Playboy might even be on ley line up there. So the top 3 boats now, all on starboard, out to the right-hand side of the course. There's Psyche. There's Taylor Bellow down to leeward, trimming the jib on. You've got Nick Ignot Johnson on tactics and Tim Snedden in the middle there. Looks like he's trimming the main. Those boys are all from the performance program at the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron. And up on the front there is Bradley McLaughlin, another professional sailor. He sails on Gladiator in the TP52 Super Series. So he sails on some pretty high performance boats, yet he's still out here for a good time on a Monday night.
Well, you can't go past Stewart 34 racing on a Monday night. One design, classic sailing at its best. Not a bad tack by the Psyche boys, and you can see their Taylor at the back of the boat. He was part of your winning crew in Raging Hormones and won the Young 88 Nationals on the weekend.
Yeah, a bit of an all-rounder, that boy. You can see he's trimming now, but he was on the bow for the 88s in the weekend. So you can do a bit of everything.
Bit ambidextrous, maybe.
Yeah.
That's a big word for a Monday. We're going to make our way up to the top mark now. We'll see Playboy round. We've got Prince Hal as well, who they're probably actually not. They're not gaining on Playboy. Playboy looks to have domination in this race. However, we have seen some pretty strange things happening in the Stewart 34 racing. We've seen boats that have gone from dead last to winning in just one upwind leg. But it does actually look like Playboy has control at this stage over Prince Hal. However, Playboy just got a bit of a knock there. They're knocking down, and it will work in their favour when they tack back to go around the mark, but you can actually see they're knocking, and Prince Hal just got the knock there then as well. Nice and shifty.
Yeah, Prince Hal choosing to tack over early. I don't think they will lay through to the top mark, but they must have just decided that was too much of a knock. They can't sail on that angle pretty much away from the top mark, so they're going to take it back and try and sail a tighter angle towards the top on a lift.
That's really costly for Prince Hal. Let's actually see if Playboy makes this. You reckon they will?
Well, the tide is definitely helping them out here.
Oh, yep, they're going to make it easily. Plenty of room. You could park a bus through there.
Speaking of buses, the Māori transliteration for bus is actually Pahi, which is the name of one of these boats. It might be named Pahi for another reason. The word probably has a few meanings, but it is a Māori word for bus as well.
Check out that storm over the city, but check out Playboy's lead in race 19, the first race of the night here, the Stewart 34 Championship Series. Not a good set by Playboy, bit of a wine glass, hitting the booze a bit too early in this first race. Luckily it's just pushed out and they're okay. Prince Hal though, I think they've suffered up that work, and actually Pahi is recovered from their little incident with their kite going underneath. They're actually back up into third.
That's impressive, eh? They must have made the most of that right-hand shift up that beat. Maybe because they couldn't tack while they were sorting out
Sometimes the bad can turn into good, because they've just managed to get ahead of Psyche, who's just had one.
Yeah, Psyche on the wrong side of that right shift, so they were out the left side. Didn't help.
Bit of a slow set there too, because they were so close to that mark coming around it. Means that everything's been delayed slightly, whereas Precedent's already got their pole out, ready to go. But Psyche's just gone for the clean hoist. They'll sort their pole out later, but this is going to be interesting.
Precedent now hoisting as well, with Passion kind of splitting the gap between Psyche and Pahi.
Actually a really slow set there by Precedent. The kite's only just made now, but you have a look at this. They've got their pole out on Precedent. Psyche is still trying to sort their pole out. Looks like there's too many cooks up on the bow there too, Josh.
Yeah, well maybe it's just a bit different to a TP52, which is what Bradley's been training on lately. He'll work it out though. Precedent on the other hand, making the most of this opportunity. They're on top of Psyche's breeze, throwing turbulent air down on them, and they've got around them, but now they're back into that downwind jail position that we talked about earlier. So they're going to have to hope they can lay through to the finish on starboard to stay ahead here. Meanwhile, down the course, it looks like Prince Hal could be holding second against Pahi, and Playboy's still with a pretty promising lead. That's what they need to do if they want to get back into this regatta and have a good shot at Prince Hal. Bit of vocals now coming from Psyche. That's the yellow boat to leeward. Psyche with the right of way over Precedent, who are above them with the varnished cabin top there.
That's good comms, good comms. You need to have good comms on these downwinds. Is it the louder the better?
Yeah, Psyche just doing their best to intimidate Precedent. They want to keep Precedent high at this point and hope that Precedent won't lay on starboard into the finish. Precedent though just managing to get around them here and jibe over onto port.
Plenty of room to do that safely. And that was nice work by Precedent. They weren't intimidated by the loud noises that were coming from Psyche.
Yeah, it is still a longer starboard jibe than port, so I think if you were Psyche here, you'd be jibing over onto port as well, just inside them, because they will have to come back onto starboard and then you can get on their air, which is what they are doing right now, just out of shot to the right. There they are, now on port jibe. The pole going on a lot better this time. Oh, and the sheet's been dropped.
It's costly. It's stuff like that that stops you from being in third place and pushes you back to almost fifth now, with Precedent taking a little bit of control. What do you reckon, Josh? At this particular point, if you were Psyche, what would you do to get out of trouble?
If I was Psyche, I'd be happy to let the game drag this way a bit longer with that tide pushing you out, because we should end up back on starboard at some point, and that's when you jibe at the same time as Precedent and hopefully get on their breeze and roll them back the other way.
And Pahi is on starboard there.
Just to the right of screen though, Psyche really struggling to keep their spinnaker set. It's kind of behind the main at the moment. They should be going a bit more pole back and ease, and it would set a lot easier, which is what Precedent is doing, and it's how they're getting around them. Pahi, on the other hand, the outhouse to the penthouse.
That's a great way to explain it. I reckon that they're going to be scratching their heads on board as well, saying, how did we manage to recover? But then I reckon in a post-race analysis, they'd say, no, that was our plan all along. We knew that we had it sorted, and we knew that we were going to get that shift. Isn't that right? That's the kind of discussion that goes down after a match, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we saw them in a world of trouble there. coming around the bottom mark, and if you just heard that gun, that was Playboy, who are well ahead of second place, taking the win. Prince Hal looking like they will have a second here. On the other hand, we've got a good fight for fourth and fifth, and you're looking at Pahi, who are trying to take out third, but Precedent might have them here. Precedent's pretty close. They're both finishing at different sides of the line.
We'll go around and sit on the finish line and see who takes this one out. Well, good vocals coming from Precedent. More aimed at their own crew members though.
Yeah, Precedent now on Pahi's air. Looks like too little too late though, because they are pretty close to the line. Sorry, Psyche on Precedent's air. As we come up to the finish, that's Pahi taking third place. Psyche managing to collapse Precedent's chute, but Precedent will take fourth and Pahi fifth. They should be disappointed about that one.
Would you be disappointed about that one?
Yeah, they just missed out on that right hand shift and went from third to fifth, which really hurts.
We might go and try and have a chat with Guy Pilkington on Playboy, who just won that race, as we just see Passion crossing the finish line. They'll be followed by Prism. Why don't we go over and see Guy on Playboy and just, oh, so we're going to get a pretty honest wrap up of the race from him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what he says about that start. He was aggressive, but it really paid off.
He was aggressive, but Guy is aggressive on the water. You know, he never provides a dull moment, that's for sure.
Yeah.
He did a little bit of a yes as they crossed that start line. They knew that they'd actually nailed the start, and they did lead that race from start to finish.
He's a veteran of the class, and he really pours his heart into it, so he's quite emotional in general when it comes to racing on these boats, but that's all coming from the heart. That's all passion for this racing.
Absolutely. We might actually jump on board. What do you reckon?
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, I'm going to take your microphone and you can control the peak of this boat transfer, and let's jump on board and have a chat with Guy Pilkington.
Hello, Guy.
We're going to jump on.
Board real quick.
All right, we're going to have a bit of a chat with Guy.
Here we are.
First one is on. That's good. The camera's on. Now we just need our interviewer.
We were just saying we were going to be the last guys to sail with you, John. Tell my kids, I used to sail with them.
We are live here. Crew just giving me a bit of a hard time about ditching them for commentary. This is the boat I sailed Stewart 34's on, and the man himself, Guy Pilkington, winner of the first race tonight. Guy, you were pretty aggressive in that start. What was the plan there?
Well, we talked about it, and we thought that the long starboard tack off the line, and we wanted to have a lane. We didn't want to get bounced, so I was quite happy with the tight leeward start, and then there was a bit of a righty, and then we almost got shut out of the boat, but we managed to hang in there, which is pretty good, and came off the line in pretty good shape. I think it was close. Bex was a bit nervous on the bow, but I think overall we were pretty happy.
Awesome. So at the moment after that race, it puts you 8 points behind Mark Bond on Prince Hal.
We just got to keep getting guns. Simple as that.
Just got to keep getting guns.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. Thank you, Guy.
This is the beauty of live broadcasting.
This is live.
I mean, we're on a hat trick now, so we got 2 guns last 2 races last week, and then we got first race today, got a gun, so a hat trick, so that's not all bad. Cricketers will be happy with that, getting a hat trick.
Do you think you're going to pull out any aggressive moves from your kind of match racing past to maybe put them back and gain a few points?
What are the 3 rules, Josh?
The 3 rules?
Yeah.
Sail fast, sail smart, and no mistakes.
There you go then, mate. We're just going to carry on doing that. How's that?
That sounds good. Thank you, Guy, and the team from Playboy.
All right, thanks, guys. Thanks.
One just got red here anyway, so you'll let it go.
Okay, guys, we're just going to cut to a screen while we gracefully exit Playboy. Just stand by just a moment, and we'll be back shortly for race 20.
Don't forget to go
Yeah, we keep conversations going. I might mention that that's why, because we often come into the bottom mark and hold the mic out ready for like yelling from everyone. Yeah. But we haven't had any tonight, and I think it's because you guys were ahead.
Yeah, we can hear the breeze crossing here.
Alright, there we go. So we sort ourselves back out. And you probably might notice that we've actually not cut the stream off tonight. We're going to keep it going for all 3 races. The plan is for 3 races tonight as we sort our little microphones out. Well, that was fun.
Yeah, that was good.
That was fun jumping on board Playboys. We'll just go behind Playboy and just have a look at them again.
So, Guy told us his plan there for winning the series. He's just going to do what he can to keep getting guns. He's not going to play silly buggers with Mark and try and put Mark a few points back, which is good to hear. It's an honourable way to do it.
Although it's not
Simple.
like Guy, is it? You know, you normally...
Very good now, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't look good now. Just looking up the course, and yeah, the breeze has lightened off. But you know, we are used to Guy being quite. Maybe hang on. We are used to Guy being quite vocal, which provides a lot of humour to the racing, to the Stewart 34 racing. The breeze has just really died right off. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the AP come up here, Josh.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised as well. Yeah, we talked about in that last race, there wasn't much yelling coming from the boats, and I think that's for 2 reasons. First of all, there was a gate, not a single bottom mark, so they weren't having to get super close to each other coming into the bottom there. They could kind of, you know, keep their own space a bit more open and concede with whoever was next to them and just go for the other mark. And then the other reason, or the main reason I think, was also because Guy was out in front and he kind of starts it all sometimes. So.
He does, and he likes to finish it as well, but he always likes it when he finishes first. So let's mosey on back down. Actually, look, I wouldn't be surprised if, yeah, the AP does go up shortly, but we're actually waiting now for the non-spinnaker boats to finish as they slowly drift down the course.
Maybe we could go to Psyche and grab Bradley, ask him how his last week overseas went with the Gladiator team.
I think that sounds great. Why don't we invite Bradley on board our wonderful boat, our great media boat, named Red October, nicknamed Brig because that's the design. It's an outstanding boat. We're very fortunate to have a great platform to be able to bring you all of this coverage, and everything that we do on the water is normally from this boat.
Make sure to let us know in the comments if you want to hear from anyone, because we might be postponed for a little bit, or if you've got any questions about the racing or want to shout out or a shot of one of your friends.
Absolutely, you know, this is a really good time to get all the information about Stewart 34 racing, and even consider, you know, getting involved with the fleet if you're in Auckland or in New Zealand. You know, get yourself. You're looking for a boat, get yourself a Stewart 34. Flyers for sale.
It is for sale, and I'm interested in that one for sure. I'd love to get a boat and get all my mates out here for racing. Take the family away cruising in the summer.
Take the family away, your parents.
Yeah. I've got a big family.
All right.
Bradley!
Jump on board, Bradley. Jump on.
So this is Bradley McLaughlin from the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron Performance Program, but also from the Gladiator sailing team. Bradley, you've been away for the last week. Do you want to run us through what you were doing and how it went down?
Yeah, so I've signed up with Gladiator again for another year. We had a training camp in Valencia over the last week. It was pretty good to get the whole team together and practice for the pre-season with our first event in Palma Vela in a few weeks' time. So yeah, a lot of training, a couple of practice races, and ironing out some cobwebs.
Yeah, so Gladiator, obviously a fully wicked up professional program there, you know, with all the bells and whistles. How does that compare, how's that compare to the Stewart 34 sailing, and why do you still come here? Why do you enjoy this?
You can't beat a good night on the Stewart 34s, that's for sure. It's, I think it's good fun. Everyone's here for a good time at the end of the day, and it's still space for learning and You know, it's completely different sailing with spinnaker poles, and you still got your brace and sheet and all that kind of stuff. So it's good training for us with knots going into the Congressional Cup. With that's going to be dip poles, but it's still going to be the brace and sheets and playing around with the poles. So it should be good fun.
Yeah, you mentioned Knots Racing, the match racing team you're a part of, helmed by Nick Ignot Johnson, and you boys are all members of the performance program at the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron. Could you tell us who your team is and what you're kind of winding up for in this next season?
Again, it's pretty much the same team as last year. So we got Nick steering, Sam Barnett doing main, Zach Merton doing trim, with Tim Snedden joining us for the bigger boat events this year, who's from the Pacific Racing, one of your old teammates. And also we've got Graham Sutherland, who's he's kind of been our coach quite a bit this year, and he came and did the Grand Slam with us in the US. He's going to join us as our tactician at the Con Cup. And going into the season ahead, with our priorities the Con Cup currently, which is in April, and then the big regattas for us are again the Grand Slam that we're defending, and the Warren Jones, and hopefully the Hardy Cup as well. So trying to aim at the big events this year, and obviously Nick's going to try and do his youth stuff on the side.
That's awesome. So most of your team aging out of youth is kind of the reason for the step up into some other stuff, and then Nick will be taking on a few younger boys from Royal New Zealand as well to do some youth stuff. Could you maybe tell us what Knots Racing stands for?
I mean, I've been told we're supposed to be keeping it a secret, so I think you're going to have to get that one out of Nick in the bar.
All right, sounds good. Bradley McLaughlin, everyone.
Cheers.
Alright, we're now going to deliver Bradley back to his good yellow ship, the Psyche. Thanks for that insight, Bradley.
No worries. Thank you.
Maybe just while we're here, Bradley, could you point out your crew and who they are?
Yeah, so we got our great owner Paul
on the phone doing some business.
On the phone. We got my skipper from the match racing, who's calling tactics tonight, taking Leonard Takahashi's spot tonight. We got Ethan, who's Paul's son, he's on the mast, telling me how to do things. Tim Snedden doing main and whatever else he does on the boat. And we got Stan and Taylor down the back of the boat doing the trim. So a good bunch of legends tonight.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers.
Psyche, Team Psyche just there. The postponement flag hasn't gone up, but I suspect that's because the last of the non-spinnaker boats still haven't finished while we've been conducting that interview. So the breeze has really died down here, and that's going to make the racing a lot harder with the tide also building strength.
Yeah, I was a victim of horrendous tidal action on Sunday in the M class. Basically, it took me probably close to an hour to get to the top mark. It was quite heartbreaking, you know, when you go from being in the lead to losing spectacularly just in one leg. But anyway, we're not going to talk about that. That's in the past, and we went
Is
on
that
to
a bit of post-traumatic stress going on with that one?
Stress, you have no idea. My hat came off, I threw it down. The dummy was spat perfectly, but went on to win the second race, so I was happy with that. So that's other classic racing here in New Zealand, as the M class has been racing for 100 years in 2022. The Stewart 34's are celebrating 60 years of sailing this year, and you've also got the Young 88s, and we had a nice, really cool little chat with Jim Young, who designed the Young 88s on the weekend. You can find a snippet of that video on our website, YouTube, Facebook, Young 88s, and the Squadron as well. Right, well, this is really lightening off. The race committee have got a decision to make, Josh, and if it was you, what decision would you make?
I'd just hold everyone out here for a little bit, see what happens with the breeze. You know, these guys committed to an evening of racing, and I'd imagine that's what they want to do. So yeah, they're going to hold us out here, just see what this wind does, and then make a decision on if they need to reset the course and where maybe they should go if they want to change spot in the harbour. So
shall we go have a chat with Pahi and find out what happened and how the spinnaker ended up underneath the boat?
Yeah.
Let's just get young Eli Leifting. Eli is on board Pahi. He's a former RS Fever World Champion. He's got the 29er spot with the New Zealand team at the Youth World Championships in Poland this year, and he was just in Sydney as well for the JJ Gilton and 18-foot skiff World Championship on board Maersk Line. Eli, we're going to jump on board. Yeah. This is the beauty of a live broadcast. Just hopefully he doesn't fall overboard. He is also probably the youngest sailor out here at just 16 years of age. Oh my gosh.
That was commitment.
Yeah, that's the youth of today. Sit down next to each other. Wow. Eli, I'm surprised you didn't go in the water then.
So, Eli, I saw you guys rounded the bottom mark in third place, and you're having a bit of trouble there, but you managed to really come back. Can you run us through what happened and kind of what decisions led to you managing to get back into third place after being fifth?
We had a few issues on the first beat with the main sheet being a bit twisted and everything not really going our way and missing out on a few shifts, but apart from that we kind of came back into it on the downwind a little bit, and then unfortunately got some of the sheets stuck under the keel on that one, but then we ended up going the right way on the second beat on the upwind, and breeze shifted right, and then we happened to be on the right side, which was awesome, and then came back in the top mark in a really good position, and happy to just hold off the next few boats on the last downwind. But no, awesome race, but bit on that one, so no, good fun.
Yeah, nice to still come away with a third after that. That right shift really helped out. So, Suella mentioned you've had some pretty good results lately. Could you run us through those, and then what's next for you? What are your goals this coming season?
So recently we've just won the 29er Youth World spot to go represent New Zealand and go over to Poland, and that'll be awesome at the end of the year. And then we've just been at the 18-foot skiff JJ's, and that's been an awesome regatta. Heaps of fun, just a new experience kinda. So no, that's awesome. And then the next coming year we'll kind of see what happens. We got basically training every day for this 29er Youth Worlds in Poland, so that'll be good. And then next coming year see if we can get a boat for the 49er Worlds and have a crack at that, but not sure at this stage.
That's awesome, mate. Great to see. And you're still out here for the Stewart 34 sprints as well. We've got a real diversity of sailors, all of very high caliber down here. What kind of brings you here each night? Why do you enjoy it?
It's just everyone in the fleet is so competitive, and it's just awesome racing just to get out here and do this every Monday. And no, it's awesome fun. The boats are also even. It's just, yeah, it's just awesome racing.
So I'm going to guess it's awesome, is that right, Eli?
Yeah, very cool.
We better get him back on the boat, because that was the 5-minute gun to a start. The race committee are committing to it.
Well, there you go. Pretty good to hear from young Eli, who is just 16, racing on a boat that is 60 years old. The design is 60 years old, and actually Pahi is one of the oldest boats in the fleet. It was a few years ago that it actually celebrated its 50th birthday.
Yeah, and what a beautiful boat it is. You know, they've pretty recently, within the last season or two, had a full-on refit. The varnish looks stunning. They've got B&G instruments on it, which is pretty flashy for an old boat. Meanwhile, back at the course, the tide has picked up in strength, so that is from left to right on your course. The top mark is in. It's a pretty short beat yet again, and it looks like we've got roughly the same angle of wind on this race. 4 minutes has just gone. The boats have got their head sails back up, and it's another U flag start, so you do not want to be over here.
So you can see the race committee are pretty keen to get everything underway, putting that U flag up, you know, trying to deter sailors from being over at the start line. So we are coming up to race 20 of the series. The series has been going since October last year, and after this we've only got 2 more weeks of racing before the big prize giving, where North Sails are giving away a brand new #1 as a spot prize, which is really exciting.
Yeah, big thanks to North Sails for that one. I'm sure whoever gets that will be very happy. Meanwhile, it is a lot lighter here. The flags are hardly flying. That's Playboy just below the boat.
Did you get
roughly
the time,
3
Josh?
minutes to go.
I'm going to take that as a no. So we're going to guess how long we've got, and hopefully this rain holds out because electronic equipment and rain doesn't really mix. So we'll try and hold on as long as we possibly can without writing off thousands of dollars worth of equipment. But we're committed. We're committed to staying and being here, you know, for the entire duration of racing tonight. And if you are just joining in, this is coming up to race 20, Stewart 34 Championship Series. We're here with Sue Ellen from Live Sail Die, Josh Weejohn, one of New Zealand's up and coming, well, actually one of New Zealand's best youth sailors, and Finn, who is driving our boat today. Thank you very much, Finn. Oh, I'm getting excited. You know, this is giving me full-on deja vu about our race on Sunday where we just drifted around. But please do provide us any comments or feedback. You know, get involved. This is an interactive live broadcast. We're here for you. We're here to show you this great class and this great sailing. And we have no idea how long to go.
No, it's 1:45. I just heard from on board the committee boat.
Good work. That's good eavesdropping.
Yeah.
Hopefully in this light stuff as well, we'll be able to get some good comms from the boats. We do like a little bit of vocal activity on board the Stewart 34's. It's always humorous.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting at the moment because the pin is a little bit further up than the last start, but there is far more wind off to the right hand side of the course. So it'll be interesting to see where these boats set up. Looks like Playboy, Passion, Psyche, Prince Hal, and one other, I can't make out from here, I'm sorry, all setting up for a pin end start as well. As we come up to 1 minute to the start. Prince Hal now.
It is a really loud horn. I just would like to point out my ears are hurting.
Yeah, we actually get noise complaints for that one at the Squadron every now and then. It's pretty loud.
I'm not surprised.
Prince Hal over there tacking in front of Princess, trying to take that port side, the pin end of the line. Psyche off in their gas, and it looks like to the left of screen there, Playboy have decided to pull back a little bit and keep clear air for this start rather than fighting it out with the other teams.
Prince Hal looks like they're early. They are going to have to sort themselves out, or you know, make a bit of a tactical decision, because they're pulling away from the mark now. They've got Princess underneath them, who are not going to make this easy. Nobody likes to make it easy for Prince Hal, the series leader. 10 seconds to go now, and I reckon that the people that are going to win this start, it's going to be Playboy again, who are going to have the great start here. We've also got Precedent and Parky with us, who are going to nail it, and there we go. Actually, down at the pin there, the yellow boat, Psyche, first boat over the line.
Yeah, some of the boats just getting a bit caught up in each other's bad air as it's gone very light here, and what looks like a bit of a left shift as well. We'll just make our way over to the left-hand side to what looks like the leading part of the fleet.
You can see that some sails here on Prison, then they're struggling to set. They're getting a lot of gas there from Pahi, who does have their sails set, but you know, just slowly drifting. You got all the crew down to leeward, trying to just limit how much windage they're giving off and keep that weight to leeward as well for a bit of windward heel. A bit of heel. I need a drink of water.
That's all right. That's when you can grab one if you want.
Thank you.
That's when I like to send everyone, or as many people as I can get away with, downstairs, just so that they're not kind of in that slot between the jib and the main. And we're looking at Playboy right now, who seem to have punched forward on the rest of their fleet. Really good work to hold a lane. And first place in the points here, off to our left, Prince Hal didn't make the best of that start. They're not very far past the pin even, so that's going to be pretty costly.
Their sails aren't even setting there. You can see it's so light that they're actually struggling to get them flying. Meanwhile, over here we've got the yellow boat. We'll just sneak right up into there. You've got Psyche and Passion, who have managed to find a little bit of a shift, and I think they're not going to do quite well out of this, but we'll head right up in there.
Yeah, these two kind of have a bit more boat speed than the rest of the fleet. Psyche choosing to just, you know, sail fast, not really worrying about Passion. Passion have a bit of work to do to hold a lane on Psyche, especially in this light wind, as you see their jib slightly flapping up front. So Psyche will probably squeeze them out. This is Passion, we're just coming past right now.
Again, you can see all of that crew. We'll get right in there and show they're going to get ready for attack though. But all that crew down to leeward. As you said, yeah, that's a lot of people climbing over there just to get to the other side. Do you think it's better to have them on the deck doing that, or you reckon it's better being down below in this light stuff?
It's a bit of a trade-off really, because you can move your weight further outboard if you are upstairs, and you can rock the boat a bit harder in the manoeuvres, which you can't do if you're downstairs, but you are also creating windage, which isn't beneficial.
You feel that breeze filling in there now, Josh. That's going to actually help, you know, sort of propel these boats forward, but it's a lot of concentration on board these boats at the moment. This is where frustration levels actually start to increase, and it can be really detrimental.
Well, it's pretty stressful at the moment, you know, because you're kind of committed to wherever you've ended up on the course. There's not much boat speed. The puff is really isolated, so someone could get some wind somewhere else on the course that you might not have even been able to see, you know, so you can't necessarily choose exactly where you want to be. You got to work with what you get.
You just see Playboy going in for attack there, which looks very slow. Psyche is going to be able to take advantage of that, and I think we might actually see Playboy lose their lead. That was a very slow tack, but, you know, understandable considering the conditions and considering these are big, heavy boats. Tacking is not fast. Aggressive
move by Guy there. I think he was trying to slam on Psyche, trying to throw some dirty air on them, but he ended up having a pretty slow tack, and Psyche just punched straight through him to leeward, and now the breeze has shifted far right, and it looks like Psyche might even squeeze Playboy out here and take the lead.
And just notice the bit of a helm change on the Psyche. That's Nick Egnott Johnson now who's steering there. Paul Groom, the owner of the boat, taking an option to be up the front and let the youngster take control.
Yeah, it looks like Tim Snedham pointing at these big dark clouds off to the right hand side of the course, saying there's going to be a wind shift here. These clouds are going to push some wind at us.
Hey, let's have a look at this. Look at these boats down here. We've got a massive wind shift. We've got upwind leg, the first leg of this race. We've got boats going upwind and boats with their kites set.
Yeah, so that's Prism and who's the other one? I'm sorry?
Terry and Pahi.
Yeah, they all have their spinnakers up, even though we're on the first leg of the course.
So surely we're going to see this race get blown up. What do you reckon, Josh?
You'd think it would get abandoned. Meanwhile, Psyche, who we were just looking at, are on the same leg sailing upwind. So we've got big wind shifts going on here.
Well, you know what? This is the roll of a dice. I can't believe it. This race is still going, and we've got Psyche. I just want to show you here. Psyche is tacking, and they've managed to actually, you know, lose what little advantage they had over Playboy. Playboy's back in the lead. But as we just turn around here, and then you can see just what, 50 meters behind, boats going downwind, boat going upwind. Josh, I'm confused.
Yeah, it's just these clouds just behind us actually are pushing through over us, pushing the wind, so they always push, and then that's causing that huge wind shift, and they are going to bring some rain, which is not favourable for us either. On the media boat. We might get the bimini up.
Yeah, let's do that right now so that we're prepared for it, so that we don't stop bringing you this live coverage. We're just going to take a wee moment here and get this bimini up. Josh, you might want to go back and give Finn a hand if that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Unclip, please.
Playboy, on the other hand, got a good little left shift just after that tack where they tried to slam Psyche.
Well, we can still see that this is just like two systems have just compressed together here. We've still got boats going upwind and we've got boats going downwind as the Bimini comes up on our boat. Just being really cautious though of Playboy. Finn or someone can drive the boat so that we can get out of the way of Playboy. So that's us. We're going to move to the back of the boat now, and once we're all locked in, we'll keep bringing this coverage.
Might be able to get a shot here of Psyche going upwind while other boats have their spinnakers set just behind them.
This is a little bit crazy, and I'm really surprised that this race is still going. You can see here we are sitting sort of halfway up the first work of this race, race 20 of the Stewart 34 Championship Series. Some boats have got their kite up and some boats are going upwind. Full deja vu of my experience on the M class on Sunday, which was rather traumatic for the first race of the day, and I can know that these guys here are going to be suffering. They're going to be confused as to what's going on, and there are people looking behind. There is a massive rain squall that's coming, and you know, there's what, 40 meters separation. Boats going upwind, boats going downwind, as we swing around here and have a look at Playboy, who are still going upwind, getting ready to go around the top mark for the first time. Now they're going to get ready to set. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, I'm really not sure what they should do here, because there are other boats coming from where they want to go who have their spinnakers set pointing straight at them on the first leg of the course. Playboy now has their pole up ready to hoist their spinnaker on the next leg of the course. What wind do you think is going to win, and which way do you think they should go?
Oh, this is an absolute lottery. We need to figure out how we're going to continue to keep this broadcast. Josh, you're going to have to come back here with me, I reckon. We're going to have to move this down, and we're going to try and find a little window here, because we're about to get slammed with some rain ourselves.
I just need to grab my life jacket and stuff.
Right, okay. Safety first. Life jacket's got to go back on. Hey, this is the beauty of live broadcasting. You never know what's going to happen, and like this race, anything has happened, because I can't believe what we're seeing here.
Playboy now rounding the top mark, hoisting their spinnaker. Boats sailing on the first leg of the course also have their spinnakers up.
This is crazy, and yes, the comment has been made, oh come on, it is just a yacht race. Yes, it is just a yacht race, but this is serious stuff. This is hardcore drifting at its best, Josh.
Yeah, this is a bit of a drift off right now, and this tide's going to kick in and make it a lot more difficult. Very, very patchy wind. Some of these boats who've managed to set their spinnakers doing pretty well out of this. It looks like Pahi, off to the left of screen at the moment, have their spinnaker fully set, and so does Patere off to their left. That is big gains for them.
I don't even know how to commentate this, Josh.
Meanwhile, we've got Psyche jibe tacking to the top mark. It's both a jibe and a tack, because their jib is tacking and their main's jibing, I think.
This is actually quite comical, and I'm going to have to say right now, I'm so glad it's these guys out here dealing with this and not me. I was all levels of frustration, which I think didn't help. And I reckon the boat that is going to keep their cool the most out of this frustrating situation is going to be the boat that does the best. And you can see our Playboy has managed to find another shift. I'm confused, Josh.
Playboy now is actually sailing away from the bottom mark. They have their spinnaker up, but they're kind of still pointing as if they were on the upwind leg of the course. Meanwhile, you're looking at Patere. You're looking at Patere just behind Psyche. Patere is the blue boat, Psyche is the yellow boat, and Psyche has been passed by Pahi, who are now dropping their spinnaker at the top mark.
Oh, this is comical.
Psyche losing a few places there, so they've just stopped and they are getting ripped downstream in the tide towards the heads.
Yeah, so Josh, here you go. What would you do in this situation?
I'd be looking up at those clouds, trying to work out what direction the clouds are actually moving.
Well, we're about to get hit with a lot of rain, and there's a lot of clouds around. There's still a few dark ones. And see there, Playboy have put their jib back up. They're going to drop their kite, because what was a upwind became a downwind, and what is a downwind is now an upwind. And as you can see, they're not going to benefit from this. Pahi is actually the one who has managed to get that little shift and to read the conditions, the unreadable conditions. They've read it well.
Yeah, Pahi are actually only just rounding the top mark though, so we saw Psyche tack to get around the top mark, and then now they're about 5 lengths back from it. They've just been sucked down tide. Pahi having similar issues. The breeze is very confused.
I think the breeze just wants to, have a nap and lie down, because it's just given up. We've got different compression happening above us, and I think the tide is winning. This is comical. It's not comical for the boats that are taking part, but it's comical.
Oh, we should get in here. They're going to start yelling, I think. We've got Patere, Prism, and 2 others Oh, we've got Flyer, who are in the non-Spinnaker division. So the non-Spinnaker division has caught up with the Spinnaker division. Now we've got 5 boats all stacked around each other at the top mark. Sorry, 6 boats now. Prince Hal's in there as well. So we've got Passion.
We've got Parterre,
So in this order, we've got
Prism.
Parterre, Prism, Flyer.
No, you got another one under here as well.
Oh my goodness, there's
I can't
another
believe I'm
behind
seeing
Prism.
this.
Get right in there. They'll abandon this race, I'm sure.
They've got to abandon this race at this point.
This has had a major effect on the results. And if we look back here, their names just slipped my tongue, I'm sorry, have just got stuffed. The yellow boat with the boys.
The Psyche, the
Psyche,
boat that you
there we
sail
go.
on sometimes. Check this out.
And Pahi now have just managed to slip away from this bunch. They've got the wind back. And it looks like along the inside back at the top mark, Flyer have taken it off everyone. I think there should be a bit of yelling going on right now.
Flyer is second in the overalls, even though starting 5 minutes behind everybody. The non-Spinnaker boat, I'm just going to point to it right there. That's a non-Spinnaker boat that started 5 minutes behind the Spinnaker division.
Meanwhile, Passion has also made big gains around here. They were one of the ones who had their Spinnaker up on the first leg of the course.
Oh, how do you reckon that Guy on Playboy is going to be feeling right about now?
He will not be happy with this, especially since his nemesis Prince Hal is just rounding the mark there inside Precedent. They don't have room there.
But we've actually got more non-Spinnaker boats here, cooling room on the Spinnaker boats. 2 divisions together.
Just going to hold my mic out and see if we can hear them for a little bit here.
Oh, this is comical. Well, I'm going to guess that frustration levels have peaked. Good comms on across all boats. I know that you probably can't hear it, and Playboy, who is leading, look at that, last. Oh, hang on, what have we done? What have you done, Josh? There we go, we're back on.
Sorry. And Particore, you can come back and look at that later, but they are right up against the mark, if not dragging it.
I'm just going to spin around here and just show you behind there. That is Playboy back there. Can't quite see them. Yeah, I reckon Guy is going to be spitting chips right about now, and rightly so. What do you reckon?
Yeah, he will not be happy about that. That was pretty costly because he rounded the mark in front of everyone, ran out of wind, and then just got sucked backwards behind the fleet by the tide.
Have you ever seen anything like this though? Have you actually ever seen... Oh, there's a protest coming out on Polaris. There's protest flag on Prism. There's protest flag on Princess. Yeah, this is interesting.
Everyone's protesting everyone, I think, here.
Have you ever seen anything like this, Josh? And the race, it just sort of keeps going?
Yeah, I've seen this happen a bit. There was a regatta I did a couple years ago in Italy at Lake Ledro, and we managed to sail around the course with our Spinnaker up on every leg of the course, and the team we were racing against, it was a match race, the other team actually had to sail upwind on every leg of the course, so
oh, wow.
It was a bit unfair.
We've just had the question asked, has any hats been thrown? And I'm going to tell you that I reckon Guy Pilkington has thrown his hat overboard. Did I just hear a sound signal from the committee boat? I think there is a flag flying. We might.
It's a shortened course flag, not an abandonment flag,
no.
I think.
Oh, you know what? I reckon we're going to see some unhappy sailors at the back of that. There was 2 horns that I just heard then, Josh.
Yeah. So that is a shortened course flag I can see there, and I'm doing my best to look out for an abandonment flag, but the visibility has gone really bad here with the rain coming in.
It really has, and Pahi, if this race does finish, Pahi has won the race. Wow. Honestly, Josh, I'm not gonna, no kid of a lie, this is almost exactly what happened to us on Sunday. However, there's a little bit more breeze.
Yeah, this is really kind of sucks if you're Playboy.
Yeah. I was Playboy,
Psyche.
so there you go. I was Playboy, and I know how frustrated I was.
I think they're finishing everyone. I think that was a finish gun
I think it
for
was.
Pahi. So at the moment, what happens if they abandon?
Well, what's going on here with Psyche? They're dropping their.
They've dropped their Genoa and put the motor on. I don't think they realise it's not abandoned, it's shortened.
Oh no. I have a feeling that we are going to see sailors protesting the race committee for this one. What do you reckon?
I wonder if I should tell them, because now they're out of the race
Well,
technically.
they're
They've
out of the
turned their motor
race.
on. Boys, it's shortened, not abandoned. They don't even care,
They
they've had
don't even
enough.
care. They're done. They are finished.
I think most of them didn't even bring their wet weather gear because it was looking like such a nice evening when we came out here.
Hey, welcome to Auckland. Wowzers. Alrighty, well, I reckon that is not just game over for Psyche, game over for the race. A bit of comms from Bradley. What was that?
It's 1 lap anyway.
1 lap anyway. I'm so confused now. Well, there you have it, folks. You've actually got Psyche that has turned their engine on and said, stuff this, we're going home, and you've got boats that are still racing. So there is a shortened course flag up. You can actually, we can see it. I can see it on the committee boat now. You won't be able to see it on the broadcast here. Pahi went around the mark, and now they're going for a set to go and finish. I reckon it's big comms down across the board here.
Yeah, maybe they haven't read the sailing instructions and fully understood that one.
And then you've got other boats here trying to go around a finish mark as opposed to going around the gate, which is what you're meant to do. At a shortened course, you're actually meant to round the marks as intended to get a finish. There's confusion all around, people.
I think so Bradley was trying to say that he thought it was a 1 lap race as well, which makes it pretty confusing if they do a shortened course 1 lap race.
I have a feeling that we're going to see this entire race in the protest room.
Yeah, they might all want to just go in, get changed, go to the protest room.
Yeah.
We'll see you there for some fish and chips.
Well, you know what? I reckon that's probably all we're going to be able to bring you tonight. This has been a very interesting night of racing. No doubt this one is going to have some good post-race analysis and discussions back in the bar at the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron. You've got boats now sort of heading over to that finish boat, I think, to actually ask what has happened and what has gone on.
Feel free to argue in the comments about what you think's happened, who's done it right, who's done it wrong, what you think they should do now.
I think everyone should just go home and have a beer. Hilarious.
Yeah, this is quite funny. It's getting a bit dark as well, so I don't think the race committee will reset a course here. We're probably going to have to go in with a bit of a sour taste.
I think we are going to have to. Well, I reckon that we might even... Do you want to call it there, Josh? Or do we want to keep going, keep seeing what happens here?
I'm interested in seeing what happens here. We could go past the race committee boat and ask for their take maybe on what's going on.
Or is it too soon?
No, that's cool. They'll let us know what they did, I think.
Well, they're precedent still that think that they're still racing.
Pahi still have their Spinnaker up.
Pahi is still racing to the top mark. Where's my backpack?
Oh, it's just here.
Very, very interesting. I have a feeling that everybody is starting to head back. There's no way we could do another race here. Hang on, just look at Flyer flying in here. Just get out of the way here.
It looks like the AP over A is going up. We've got Flyer coming past the race committee having a few words. Same with Psyche, they're not happy as well.
And there we go, we've got AP over A, no more racing today.
Flyer were arguing that it is their gun, that they think they should have won that. Psyche are asking why it wasn't abandoned. They think it should have been abandoned. I'd say I definitely agree with them on that one.
And here, this is the good one will be Guy coming in on Playboy.
Yeah, I wonder if he wants to give us an interview now.
Ooh.
Probably not.
I think we might just stay away. This is a children-friendly coverage. Alrighty, Josh, we're getting hammered by the rain here ourselves, and I think that was a pretty interesting afternoon of yachting here in what has turned out to be a pretty horrendous Monday evening on Auckland, just thanks to the rain squall that came through. We did predict it was going to come through, and it did. Yeah. There is no more racing today, but a lot of boats are making their way to the start boat to find out what on earth they were thinking during that race.
Big thank you for tuning in. We're probably going to have to go now because we're struggling to keep our camera gear dry.
Alright everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Josh Weejohn, Finn driving, I'm Sue Ellen. There we have it, day is done. And I'm Sue Ellen from Live Sail Die. Thank you so much for tuning in on what has been another exciting evening of Stewart 34 racing. We managed to get 1.5 races in. We've no idea if that second race of today is going to count. Let's go back to the club and see what the discussions are, Josh.
Yeah, maybe make sure to follow the comments. I'm sure some of the sailors will get in and give their take on what happened and what they thought should have happened. And there will definitely be protests after this, probably against the race committee for not abandoning that race. So I'll make sure to update you in the comments on what happened after today.
Alright everybody, thank you so much. We'll be back next week. Josh, are you going to join us again?
I'm actually going to be in America for the Congressional Cup, so I'll be away. Sorry.
Better offer has come up for Josh Weejohn, launching himself onto the international stage yet again. So we'll be looking for a co-commentator. Hopefully we can find someone equally as amazing as Josh Weejohn. Alright everybody, thank you so much. That's it for tonight, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you.